From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here in studio. Sooners were back on the court on Saturday in Austin, and it was another road loss in the Big 12. Joe Masato joins us on the phone to discuss these road woes for the Sooners. Joe, it's been a really long time since the Sooners have gone on the road in Big 12 play and won. Take us back to when they last won, and why were they not able to get that win on Saturday down in Austin?
Yeah, you've got to flip your calendars all the way back to 2017. December 30th, 2017 at TCU was the last Big 12 road win the Sooners had. This was 11 straight road losses. I mean, you look back, I think that stat sort of got overshadowed with how well they played, you know, at Kansas and at Texas Tech, but losing another Big 12 road game this weekend at Texas. You know, it was another game they were close in. They just really shot the ball poorly in the first half, but in the second half they scored 48 points. It just wasn't enough. Texas scored 46, so the offense has really opened up. Sort of a back and forth matchup. Jamal Bieniemy hit 3 huge threes in the final 4 minutes, but Oklahoma just couldn't get a stop on the other end. So another Big 12 road loss for the Sooners. Yeah, and Lon Kruger clearly looking to find some answers, not only to the road woes, but just overall. And, you know, he changed up that starting lineup. Joe, what did you see out of that? What about the change struck you? And then how did it go in your mind for the Sooners? I actually think it went pretty well, and I think it's something that he's probably going to stick with moving forward. He put Jamal Bieniemy into the starting lineup in place of Aaron Calixte. It's a huge change as far as experience level, with Bieniemy being a true freshman and Calixte being a graduate transfer. The other move, I don't know if this was too much Texas specific or we could see it more going forward, but Rashard Odoms was in for Jamani McNeese, and that just slid Brady Manick down into the center spot, just having a smaller lineup out there with basically Odoms, Doolittle, and Manick in the front court. So I just think that lineup gives OU much more. They're more versatile on defense because of it. McNeese can't really get out onto guards, but a guy like Doolittle can, Manick even can, Odoms can. So basically Lon said after the game that he was doing it just to give a jolt to this team. He thought they needed more energy after that Kansas State game. They really didn't get the energy to begin with, but it did close well. So we'll see if they make those same changes on Wednesday.
Well, and yeah, you mentioned that Wednesday game. It is Bedlam up in Stillwater, 8 o'clock start up there at Gallagher-Iba. And Joe, is we know in this neck of the woods, OSU facing a depleted roster after 3 players kicked off the team last week. How does that change in the starting lineup? How could that potentially impact things for the Sooners, considering Cowboys will be shorthanded at home, obviously, a road game for the Sooners. That road hasn't been a great place for them. But how could that change in the starting lineup potentially impact what we see on Wednesday night?
I think it could put a lot of pressure on OSU to begin with, just because that lineup can really get up and down the court a lot better. You don't really have a guy in McNeese that's, you know, I mean, he's really good at times for the offense, but might weigh them down at other times. So that could be one of the changes. But, you know, just I think it's just going to go back to energy. It's just, you know, maybe they got too comfortable in that starting lineup because, you know, I feel like you kind of mention this every week, but, like, OU really is – their non-conference schedule is still booing them. But you're entering sort of must-win territory when you play a team like OSU and then Baylor coming up and West Virginia. I mean, the schedule has been so tough, but now it's starting to get, you know, where there's winnable games on the schedule. And at a 2-4 start to the conference schedule, they've really kind of got to get going. And I think that's what Kruger's mentality is with this new lineup.
Well, they'll get a chance to get a road win for the first time in a long time Wednesday night up in Stillwater, again, 8 o'clock, ESPNU. And then that SEC Big 12 Challenge, we'll talk more about that later in the week, but that's on Saturday. OU hosting Vanderbilt. They'll play out of conference for that. That's a 3 o'clock start down in Norman. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.